After all these years, Tesla has finally done it. The wait is over, the doubts are gone, Tesla has won. Everything we've dreamed about is now real. Robotaxis live, Optimus is coming, Tesla energy is booming. What once sounded impossible is now happening before our eyes. We're now at the point Tesla becomes unstoppable. And today we're talking with and interviewing Sat. He's one of the earliest Tesla investors ever since 2010. Welcome, Sat. Appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
This is fun. We are both in Osaka, Japan right now. It's great to be able to interview. We're actually inside a Tesla retail store. So we will talk about, what is happening with Tesla in Japan. But Sat, let's get started with, the very first, you were one of the earliest, I don't know anyone else, who invested in Tesla right at the IPO, 2010. And 2012.
Yeah.
And so since then to now, things have changed. And today, everything seems to be happening right now. So what are you seeing today versus what it was all these years you've been waiting for?
It's gone from startup to making one vehicle to now we're talking about AI and robotics and bots.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world now. And the vehicles sell themselves basically. If you know the safety of it, the vehicle models, the refresh ones, they've been amazing. So, and I see more and more every day here.
Yeah.
Like every single day I see more of them here.
Well, I'm a little surprised you're talking about the vehicles instead of Robotaxi or the bots. We actually have a bot here.
Yeah. The bots is going to be the big part of it, and the FSD is huge. It's completely changed the trajectory right now. It's a completely different company.
So there's a big debate right now. People are going, why hasn't Tesla revealed a really true low-cost vehicle? I don't think that they're going to. I think that they are going to be releasing everything from now on, except for the Roadster. It's going to be the last drivable car. But there's people think that they'll take the Robotaxi and the Cyber Cab and just remove the steering wheel. What's your thinking?
I think the compact car has to come out.
Okay.
I don't know when, but it's probably going to be sometime in the near future because even here, if you notice, the streets are very small.
Yeah.
Model Y is considered relatively big. So in terms of these kind of places, like you need more compact vehicles.
Yeah.
Majority of the vehicles that's sold are the K cars and the standard cars that's like super small, the compact cars in the US.
Yeah.
So it's really, really tiny compared to there. So the streets also residential, we're in the main section, so the road seems kind of large, but in the residential section, it's really small. So I think the compact car has to be there. Even in Europe, that's the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of time that there is going to be one. It's just, I don't think it's like right now.
Okay.
So I think it's going to come, but it's not as incentivized, I think, in the US because Robotaxi is coming around. It's already in operation. So it seems like you don't need it, but for other places where the urban structure is very different, I think it's a necessity.
Okay, so you think there is rumors now that Elon is apparently reapproved the smaller vehicle. So we'll see if that's true. So tell me about Japan. Like obviously Toyota's here and everybody's telling me do not underestimate Toyota. Just 12 million cars a year, tremendous amount of billions of dollars of margin. And when they decide, they're going to decide. Do you think that they're going to get into electric vehicles or Robotaxi?
I've driven their vehicles with auto keep lane assist, and it wasn't very good. And we're talking about basic autopilot level. I don't think it's anywhere near.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't have the engineering or whatnot. Most of the vehicle manufacturers have the technology to manufacture a vehicle. They just can't do it at the right cost. So I don't think it's a matter of flipping a switch and being able to do it.
Okay.
Their fit and fitness is great, but making a vehicle that's an EV drivetrain, it's a completely different animal. I was in a taxi, the Toyota EV, and the driver told me that they didn't have a charging structure for it, so they probably weren't going to get any more. So it's not like it's been a good experience either. So I don't. It's at least a few times I've been in even a taxi, they're not even enthusiastic. So I think it's different. Whereas now with Teslas, I see every day. Before
more and more Teslas here.
At least once a day.
Okay.
Before it was once a week at best.
Yeah.
But now I see it every day. So I think it's come to a tipping point where they see it on the vehicles in town, and if people see it, then that's a level of trust that people have. and trust and reputation is very, very important in Japan. So once they've seen it and other people driving it, it becomes an affirmation that it is a stable company that's here. And it's for here, like they can trust it because they see it out in public.
Yeah.
So I see it a lot more nowadays. Maybe in the countryside, it's still not that many, but in the big cities, yeah, I definitely see them a lot
So you
more.
think Toyota is going to get flat-footed? They're going to get caught?
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard
For them.
I don't think it's as easy as I'm pretty sure they can make it happen, but I don't think it's as easy as what people are saying.
Gotcha.
I really don't think it's. If that was the case, that's the thing that you mentioned, like from 10 years ago. They're like the people who are critics of Tesla were saying, well, Ford, GM, Toyota, they could just flip a switch, and it's like, well, it hasn't happened. And I said, I mean, I would love them to do it, but it doesn't. And even here, like everyone wants it. They want everyone to be on the same page,
Yeah.
have a good EV experience, but they're not on board. And the new leaderships, that every time they have a new CEO, they're not that much different than the previous ones. So in the meantime, like before it was Model 3s, now it's Model Ys that I see more often here. So the traffic is changing too.
So I'm curious, like, what do you think about Robotaxi here in Japan? So Robotaxi, of course, is going to be a big deal in the US. Some people think it may not be as big of a deal in China because it's so low cost to have a driver there. But here in Japan, it is the number 3 largest auto. And everyone here, of course, everybody understands they use the subway. They're used to taking these taxis. We've been using the Go taxis everywhere. Do you think Robotaxi will make its way here? Will it succeed? I think we just heard the Waymo, their executive was announcing that they're driving the cars here in Japan already. Do you think Robotaxi can become a big thing here?
I think it's a necessity, especially the countryside,
Yeah.
because there's already people who did their own business,
They're
or
old, yeah.
they have trucks or vans that
Yeah.
carry the vegetables to the countryside,
Yeah.
because there's no supermarket in the countryside. So there's already avenue for it, and then the older people, they don't drive. So if they can have a Robotaxi, they could get around without anything. And then the taxi drivers aren't going to sit around in the countryside where there's no regular traffic. So that's the other part, like even in Uber or whatever taxi service you use, the driver won't drive you 100 meters or 500 meters or 1 kilometer because it's too short, right? So those people may cancel your ride. You'll never have that problem with Robotaxi. And in the countryside,
So you think the government they'll be forced to approve the regulation?
I think there's a necessity. It's going to be a necessity. And then the other part is like the elderly drivers.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem here. That it's not a problem as other places. Is that they shouldn't be driving anymore.
Yeah.
And they literally press the wrong pedal and run into people. And so a lot of people are always walking around, and that's been a huge social problem. So they've implemented like testing again, or whenever they have to renew it, like there's another test they have to go through, because some of them really should not be driving anymore. So they would be able to still have their independence without having to drive, and that would be another safety advantage to have it. So it's not just about having taxis or not taxis, it's about safety. So I think there's a necessity for it.
Yeah.
And then the places that's depopulation or not enough people or services aren't available, even certain train stations are starting to be decommissioned because there's too few passengers. So there's a necessity for it.
It's changing fast. Okay, let's come back to Japan later, but let's talk stock. So you've obviously bought stock early, and have you been accumulating? If you're open to sharing that?
I have. Well, when it went up, I sold a small chunk of the top.
You did?
And then I went back in at the 300 mark,
Uh-huh.
and then we rode it back up.
Okay.
So, but I don't do the buy and sell. I only do the top cost basis. Most of my positions have been the same
Yeah.
for a decade. So. or
And
more.
then what's your plan, and what are you thinking happening now?
With the bot and the Robotaxi, well, and then the head comp package, I said it's going to go 8.5 trillion. So, and every time Elon has met their comp package goals within a few years.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a reason to sell. I'm going to keep holding on to it. So.
Yeah. Do you play the the options market? Like, do you care what's going to happen in the next 6 months before the end of this year?
I mean, I do some options, of course. I do some of
Yeah,
it, but I'm still doing really long term, like a year out, 2 years out. So I'm still thinking like a long-term person.
Okay, so do you have price targets of what you think it'll be if you're doing these options?
So I do the opposite. I'm happy if I end up 20% more every year. My standard is very low because I don't know what, like it could go up a lot and then go back down, right? So if at the end of the year it's 20% up, I'm fine. That's my standard.
So just in generically, you think each year, as long as it's up by 20% each year,
Yeah.
then you're good with the
Well,
stock.
my thing is this, like I went through a 6-year period where it
Yeah.
went nowhere, and then it did 10x, 1,000% in 1 year. So it skews the way that I average it out. It's going to be more than any of the other stocks, right? So it's not my expectation is very low in that sense because I know there's going to be a monster year. I just don't know when.
Are you, again, just share this only if you're open to it, but are you overly weighted on Tesla, or do you have a lot, are you playing other stocks?
I have other stocks, but the thing is, if you hold on to a really great generational company and you don't sell, it will dominate your portfolio.
And that's what's happened since 2012.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
I never went in. I think that even the current investors are more audacious than I was because I allotted a portion of my portfolio and I left it.
Yeah.
And that became huge.
Yeah.
So I didn't ever go in and say, oh, all at once in one company. I never did that. So I have NVIDIA, just like probably everyone else does. You know, it's part of the supply chain of Tesla's new stuff. So and the AI servers and so forth. So there's other companies that's the residual or beneficiaries of the Tesla industries that's basically being created.
Yeah.
But if you hold on to it and if it goes to 8.5 trillion, even now whoever has 10%, 15% portfolio, it's going to dominate your portfolio.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. So what is your thesis on Tesla stock? So what was your thesis back in 2012? What is it at 2020? What is it like now?
2012, I was thinking they'll probably make it after the Model S. I knew that they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a great company and they're going to take over other OEMs. And now it's like, no, the OEMs for vehicle production that's not the story anymore.
Right.
Now we're going to do FSD and self-driving. And then it's like, well, the bot came out and the Robotaxis out. So now it's like, okay, well, now we're an AI company. So we went from like a car company, tech company, software company, now we're just AI. So it's a huge transition. We're not even talking about megapacks and the storage, energy storage. So that's a huge business that's been growing. So I think Tesla's on a whole different trajectory now. So I didn't think that it was this way 10 years ago. I think, oh, we'll survive as a car company. Okay, we'll be great. And then now the expectation is completely different.
It sounds like you yourself were surprised that they got into, autonomy.
Yeah.
And then you were surprised that they're into bots. Like that wasn't part of your thesis.
Yeah,
you were just betting on Elon
and
or
the
betting
EV.
on EVs.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that come is just gravy for you.
Well, I mean, Elon keeps on innovating and doing new startups within the company. So I see it as like 5 startups in one company, and you'll never have that. And now, they're starting to test FSD in Japan. So who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah. Okay. And then have you been testing FSD and where we're at today? Do you believe that we're going to get into unsupervised FSD with 14?
I think we were really close, but it's all about data, how much data you have. So it's hard for me because when I'm driving most of the time, I see such little incremental improvement because it's already so good.
Yeah.
It's good for me from 11.4 or something, So when they say it's like 14 from 13 point something, it's like the incremental improvements is I see it little by little, but it's not like so huge for me anymore because most of my drives are like one intervention.
Yeah.
Or less. So for some people's different regions, they can really see the difference. But I'm already on a version that works really, really well. So it's hard for me to say that, how much more improvement, because I already think it's already pretty close.
And what is your estimate for what they're going to accomplish with Robotaxi announcement? They've obviously made a huge jump in terms of going into Robotaxi in Austin, then they expanded into California. People are going, why haven't they expanded? It's been a couple months. By the time we post this video in a couple days, who knows, maybe they've made an announcement. But I think it's because 14, they want to make sure version 14 is really well. And then they're going to make a huge, many ride-hail offering in many different cities by the end of this year. What's your expectation?
I think as long as they do it in as fast as possible in a safe manner, but the safety is more important than the speed. I think technically the Robotaxi expansion is already faster than what Waymo was at the same juncture.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to hurry. I think when people are into Tesla, they get really overly enthusiastic about it, and it's like, well, they are advancing very, very fast for where they're starting at. So, and they're doing a really great job in my eyes. So, and then you have to have the little regulations and the paperwork and the administrative part of it with working with the state and cities. So, I think that I know the technology is going to make it a lot faster. Maybe it already is in the oven right now, but to actually execute it into public, you have all these other little challenges that comes around. So, the public testing in Arizona and different states are already. So I think the expansion is going to happen. So I would be surprised if none happened next year. I would expect at least something. So I just don't try to time it, because when people try to time it and like, oh, the stock price and timing this, like I know it's going to happen. It's just that sometimes it doesn't go as you plan, and people complain like, oh, he was talking about FSD like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Well, you don't know until you do it, because it's completely new. So I think, and it's different with Robotaxi because it's an actual production vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a specialty vehicle. And I think that's where Tesla's differentiating themselves, because going forward, they're making a fundamental difference in that you could create these vehicles just like you'd do any of the ones you're selling. I have a Y performance on reservation right now.
Yeah.
Is it for Robotaxi or for a person to buy? It's the same vehicle. So I think they're going to be the best one out there because of the cost effectiveness.
So I'm hearing a theme here. The common theme is you're actually very calm, you're very conservative, you bought it early, you didn't really have this giant, Tesla's going to become a robot AI company in the future. You had no idea. It happened. And then now you're not expecting jumps in stock. It could, but you're like, if I just get 20% growth each year, you're happy. You're not expecting Robotaxi to roll out any faster than it is. You're just kind of like letting it happen. And maybe that's the secret for long-term investors. Is that like, do you ever give advice to people, or what is, how you think of things differently than others?
I have actually, when we were in other chat rooms and during a few years back, and Tesla was like, I think 180 and 200, and we'd have group chats, and some people would be like, they bought at 300 and went straight down to 200, right. And I was like, well, I was in this process for 6 years, so it's like, just hold on, don't look at it, just be chill, and just keep up with the business, and it'll be fine. And then it hit now it's a 430s and 450s, right? And I went to the same person and I said, remember what I told you? And are you happy now? And she's like, yeah. Because now it's like, I think it's triple.
Yeah.
And double, 2.5 times what she bought it at. Yeah. So I was like, see, I told you. So you just have to wait for a few years, and then during that time you actually should be like putting in more money if you can. So that's why I was like, yeah, you'll be okay, and then like, so I waited for this moment. Literally happened a couple of weeks ago, and I literally waited this for like 3 years, and I say, didn't I tell you?
Yeah.
So
you don't really have expectations for how many factories they're going to roll out, how many Megapack factories they're going to roll out, how many bots they might roll out next year, how many cities Robotaxi might go in. None of those. You don't have forecasts for it and plans for it.
I mean, I know there's going to be at least a handful of cities that's on the table already. Yeah. So I would expect that, but I don't try to like calculate every single digit, because there's so much other stuff that's going on, and just to keep up to study and what's happening within the company is already tough enough. So I'm trying to learn about the battery stuff. I'm trying to learn about the AI and the software. So I'm not going to try to count every single digit anymore, because it's a huge job to even just keep up on those numbers. And I think other people do it better in the community. So I actually follow the other people who do that kind of analysis. But I like looking at where the puck is going to be. So I'm looking at like where the business is going to develop and so forth. So it's more important for me to look at where the next part is going to be, and then understanding the overarching part of the comp package and where Elon's taking the company. The little details, the other people are really great at. So I usually kind of defer to them now. But I also want to see like NVIDIA and other chip companies that's getting on board, because it requires a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the battery storage part, the infrastructure for EVs, and so there's so many other aspects that needs to go along with it. So if Tesla just goes up in front of everyone, like you need everyone to be on the same page. So it's always been that stance with Tesla. That's why their superchargers are open to everyone who's willing to accept the Tesla charger. So that mentality is really important. I think people forget that even though you have competitors, everyone needs to advance the industry together. So it's a really cohesive kind of teamwork. At the same time, you are competing as different companies, but that synergy is really important.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not just the company you pick, right? It's the industry. If the market is just growing, even the ones who aren't succeeding will grow along with it. But if you're the leader, you're going to lead the way.
Yeah.
So what's your stance on whether or not other OEMs, let's say even Toyota here, Hyundai, would they partner with Tesla for FSD? Or that's just not something they'll do? It'll make their cars to become commodities and just never do that.
I think at a certain point when it becomes too undeniably obvious that that's the main feature of a vehicle, it becomes commonplace, like a smartphone. It used to be a super expensive phone that can access the internet. Now, if you don't have it, you literally cannot keep up with anything. So, and nobody's gonna assume that you could live without apps. So I think before we didn't have an app store, nobody put values on the app. It was just something that the software engineers did and very specific, like high-tech people would engage in. Now the common person that has no understanding of computer science can use it, and they need it. So I think that's going to be what's going to happen with the vehicles, and they're going to have to use FSD or some self-driving programming, or else why would you get the vehicle now? So I think it's going to get to that point where it's so good when it's released to the public and people start seeing how good it is. It's going to be a point where like you're not going to want the vehicle without it.
Sure, but when? Are you thinking next year, 2 years from now, or again, or one of those things where you don't really think about the dates?
I mean, I think in a couple of years it would be more.
2 years?
Yeah, but I think in Japan, because they're starting now, it might take a little longer because they're just starting the FSD now.
Like, Japanese cars, Japanese Tesla owners can actually have FSD now? Or there's rumors?
They're testing it right now.
Yeah,
so
testing.
I think even to get into Tesla, it's going to take a year, maybe two. So, and then the other OEMs, it would take a little longer than that. So I think it's a few years out for other OEMs to acknowledge it, unless they are seeing it in the US first. So if they see that more, then maybe less than 2 3 years. But right now, it's like the way that they're moving and the way they're not investing in EVs, I'm not as optimistic that they would, but I know they would kind of have to if they want to keep up with it. Yeah. And they've done it before. It's like Mercedes and Toyota have contracted with Tesla before for their EV drivetrains, and maybe people forget about that. So they needed EVs, they contracted with Tesla, and they had a great partnership, and it worked out really great for both sides. So I don't see how it won't work.
So Tesla and Toyota did have a partnership a long time ago, something many investors have forgotten, but you didn't because you were there 2012. Let's get back to Tesla, Elon's comp package. You saw it, we've all seen it, there's lots of milestones. Which one do you think he'll do first?
The vehicle ones, I think it's a little bit easier.
To get to 20 million vehicles though, but it takes years to get there.
Well, yeah, that one, but I think the market cap part is the tranches of the market cap first. Sure. I think it's the easier one,
right?
Which is going to be more vehicle related in the beginning. I think when the bots become volume production, I think that's going to be a lot easier because the unit's smaller. So whenever the volume production happens for until then, it's going to be a tough road. But the second volume production happens, I think the bot of 1 million, it will be a lot easier, considering that they're supposed to already be, I think, doing several thousand this year internally. So I think that side's going to be faster once they're able to do volume production. Yeah. So 20 million vehicles, obviously, it's going to take a lot, but the market cap tranches, I think, are going to be a lot easier to get to.
Yeah. So again, it sounds like you have no concerns that Elon's going to hit these milestones, but you don't put a date to it. He'll just do it someday.
Well, this is the thing. When 2012, they had a comp package. He hit it in like a few years. 2018, it's like, oh, that's even more ambitious. Oh, okay, we'll agree with it, because that means that I'm going to get, wealthy off of that, the stock going up too, and it's like, so we're like, well, yeah, okay. It's like, 10 years, okay, it'll probably happen in 10 years, and nowhere did anyone, because imagine that time, everyone was like in the market, in the news, were saying this is crazy plan, he'll never reach it. So it's like, oh, whatever. They literally dismissed it. So it's funny to me that now, Dell reports and like are saying something about it, and it's like, but nobody cared, but nobody thought it was it. And then even myself and other investors were like, yeah, if we hit this, it'll be amazing. Nobody thought it's going to happen in like what, 3-4 years. So I was like, I expected to not take 10 years. I'm not waiting for 10 years. That's the other thing. Like, we usually underestimate what we could do in a year and then overestimate. So I think it's going to get there faster.
Do you think Elon is sandbagging these milestones? That he agreed to them, but and then he said, oh, we won't get to 1 million robots until 2030, but some people go, no, he's sandbagging that, he'll get it in 2 years. But others are going, no, actually, there was a real reason why he had to push it, because it's a lot harder to create the actuators than you realize. There was part shortages. He wanted to get the hands to 22 degrees of freedom, much more complicated. That slowed everything down. There's a lot of reasons why things slowed down.
I think it's a combination of that, but I also think he got smarter about when the timeline is, because that's when that's an inside joke for everyone about the FSD. So being too optimistic didn't play out as well. So I think he's a little more vague on it, and I think he learned that from the last few years. And I think there's always going to be who knows what they're working on now. So I'm pretty sure they've figured out there's certain obstacles on certain production stuff. In the lab, it could be easy, right, in the lab. But when you actually go and need to make 1 million of them, maybe it's not the right part. Then that happened with the Model 3, right? It's like, oh, we have a third party doing the seats. Oh, we can't make it to quality. Okay, stop the production. We have to do it in-house. So in theory, everything seems great in the beginning, but when you actually go and execute and try to make 1 million of them, and continually, then you're going to have to do a different kind of process. So I think it's good to have buffer time built into it. And so I think there's a certain realistic part that he's adding to it now that he's learned from the previous part. He's not setting a certain date as strongly as before, especially for the bigger projects that are newer, because we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody's ever built it. So when he says something and then people try to hold him to that T, and it's like, I think it's kind of ridiculous because he's pioneering everything that we're doing now. And then the other thing is, like, he doesn't want to also say all the details, because literally when they showed the AI and Investor Day presentation, you got a bunch of other startups literally copying exactly what was in the presentation. So I think we as Tesla people want to know more about it, but at the same time, you have to understand that other competitors are literally just copying Elon and Tesla. So I think it's good to be a little vague about it. I just know, I look at the action and his results. It's always been earlier than the 10 years. So I'll bet on that it'll be earlier than that.
You'll bet on us earlier, but you do think that he has changed and he's learned a little thing, and so you will give him that. You'll give him that ability for him to change. Okay.
So yeah, I just think that it's going to be faster than the 10 years that's allotted for it.
So one of the things that's interesting, you've been following the company since 2012, and we've seen it continuously evolve. What do you think it's going to be 2 years from now? What's the next new business that they're going to announce that we had no idea about?
I mean, personally, I think the app store for the bot.
App store for the bot. Okay.
Yeah, because you have to have different programs to do different tasks. So I think there's going to be another app store kind of situation. Because you're not going to buy a bot and buy every single software. You're going to buy the one that's appropriate for you. So just like a smartphone, you're going to have the apps that you're going to use. So there's obviously certain ones that everyone's going to probably use, but there's going to be specific ones that people are going to use for specific things. So I'm thinking also multiple bots, like one for outdoor and one for indoor. So even that, for like how I would purchase it and use it, is different tasks, and I would have more than one. And right now people are thinking about one. Well, we used to think we'll have one computer. Well, now you have like an iPad, you have a phone, you have a laptop, a desktop, right? So you have I think 4 or 5 devices for one person now. Nobody imagined that like 34 years ago. Yeah. So I foresee stuff like that happening.
Yeah. What about AI data centers, drones, HVAC systems, something to do with food, some sort of solar energy?
I think all of them is gonna be touched.
All of them?
Yeah. We were already touching some of it already, right? Tesla diners, and so, and they're using occasionally they use the Optimus at the diner. So all of those gonna probably come into play somewhere. I don't see how it's not.
Yeah, this company is just going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Thank you so much, Thad. Appreciate it. Long-time investor. So I think you taught us something today, right? Which is don't put dates. just have conservative expectations, 20% growth, and you're just betting on this company that's just continuing to grow. And it's
I've been following Tesla and Elon since 2006, but I first invested in 2012.
Yeah.
So I've watched the company for about 5-6 years prior to investing in it. So it's a huge time frame that I've watched it, and that's why I don't try to time it anymore. But I have a general understanding, like realistic understanding of when.
Wow, I don't know if you guys heard that. There was somebody honking in Japan. This is Japan. This is Osaka. That's not supposed to happen. I think the world's changing. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody. Bye, Sam.
Thank you.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.